Hello. Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Michaela, for helping with this event. So I'll actually just come back. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the future of KDB. This is an initiative that a lot of people are interested in. We announced this in a blog, I think in January, Neil published, that really is talking to where we're going, where we're investing. And yeah, I've recently joined the product management team to make that reality. So I'm also going to be joined by Siobhan in a moment, who's going to talk through the developer design. So a little safe harbor statement. What we're going to show here today is really, it's forward looking. It's not committed. We are going to show a roadmap, but largely things may change. And yeah, we really want you guys to get involved, to give your feedback, to contribute what you can to the product roadmap, which many of you have done already. So what we're focusing on as part of this, so I guess to comment, the priority is always going to be performance and efficiency. So cost and price performance, that is the heart of KDB and the Q language. The three new principles that we're going to be introducing here are really around accessibility, extensibility, and interop. So I've actually joined us from the partner team. I've moved across from supporting some of our big partnerships with the data lake providers. And I think in the case of interop, that's something really special that we're working on. We've had a lot of interest in things like Parquet. But if I take from left to right, so accessibility, Peter has mentioned the free tier. So we're working on that at the moment, getting lots of input from customers, from prospects, from users, developers. And really that's so exciting because we're going to be opening up the technology to new users that can get started quickly, that can get access to the software today, tomorrow, in the future without any kind of direct input from KX. So the next thing we're going to be working on is the developer tooling. So when you get started, what are the best practices? What are the SDLC tools that you'll use from day one to actual advanced usage? And then obviously we're going to be focusing on documentation. That will include things like WASM, which some other technologies have, to be able to actually evaluate the language inside of the browser. When it comes to extensibility, so we have some big ideas here. We have quite a fragmented open source community at the moment. A lot of GitHub repos, a lot of kind of contributions from the community that aren't really following any one standard. So what we want to do at the core level is innovate actually around package management. Some may refer to this as module management, dependency management. So we're actually going to come out with a standard, and we're starting with the Fusion library. So the actual open source kind of KX supported Fusion libraries as the first set that will release to that pattern. We're also going to be coming out with some support for Gen AI through the AI libraries, and obviously extending the MLOps and ML toolkit, which we've had a lot of interest in, and generally open source. So contributions from us around packages that we have in-house, around kind of just supporting more interfaces, whether that's on the programming language side or the protocol side, message buses, and really just bringing to bear a lot more for our kind of new users and for advanced use cases. On the interop side, we're going to continue to obviously focus on opening up the analytics ecosystem to whatever technology people want to use. We've started with Python and with obviously KDB and SQL. We plan to do other things like PyKX. We may bring in more languages to have that embedded runtime. And I think just to touch on the last kind of 2 points. So File.io is probably, as a proprietary technology, it's probably one of the biggest things that customers ask us for. So and I'm only in this role 2 months, but if I haven't been in the kind of the pre-sales team and kind of technical sales, we get a lot of requests for Parquet. We get a lot of people asking about Delta and Iceberg support with the open table format. So that is something that we're going to commit to. And it's something that we've actually been researching for the last year. So we'll slowly uncover what we're working on, but this is coming, and yeah, it's very, very exciting. And yeah, we touched on Fusion libraries. So I guess the tagline that we have as part of this, we're coming out with essentially what is KDB, right? We're trying to bring KDB into new markets. The community edition is going to help that. We're going to improve like the actual usability, the first time experience. But the tagline is unified engine for developers building lower scale time series and vector data systems. and what is included. So this is quite dense, potentially intentionally, but I think what is KDB? So we obviously have the standard executable, and we have obviously the Q.so PyKX executable. We're going to come out with WASM for the browser, and there may be some alternative use cases for that as well, as we see containers technology kind of maybe be replaced somewhat by WASM. The rest is really massive feature improvements. So we're going to be bringing out more anti-SQL support, potentially embedding some of the Postgres wire support into the core. We're going to bring the actual s.k implementation into the core, so it's no longer a separate library. It's offered natively within the software. We've had object storage for a couple of years. This is now going to be available directly from the binary. And that includes multi-route HTTP, so no longer having to worry about things like SIM file passes across databases and having to switch out databases when you want to run analytics. Another kind of really popular one that we've had is error messages. We have some ideas there. We haven't agreed yet what we're going to do, but that's pretty much the number one thing that customers have asked for. We don't want any more type errors. So yeah, native IO with open formats, we talked on that, and to kind of paint the picture on what we're really talking about there, it's not just import export. It's not just can I get data from a Parquet file. It's actually going right down to the engine level and ensuring that KDB Plus can run QSQL and functional form against open file format. Some of our plans there are quite unique. So if you take KDB Plus as a technology that would run against any block storage, any network storage, file storage, object storage, we're going to do something very similar there for the open formats. So actually make that to a standard so that if at some point we want to open up to support Avro or other big data formats, not just Parquet, we can actually allow that to happen quite easily. And the same would be true. So you can kind of think of the Parquet support as it might have some performance impact. Like, for example, a lot of the Parquet files are going to be on object storage. But yeah, being able to run the same queries and make design decisions about where I want that data stored, whether it's block, object, etc. I'm going to show some of the simplified install and config. And yeah, the last kind of three are things that we're working on: load balancing, improvements for multiple IPC hops, multi-column HTTP partitioning. So kind of some of these concepts exist in Parquet. And single attribute on partition tables is a little bit of a limit at the moment, really when you get to those massive data sizes. And yeah, last but not least, the package management feature that we're coming out with. So yeah, largely this is a massive investment from KX into the core team. We're just getting started, and this is kind of what we have like immediately in the next 6 months. And I'm going to show a wider roadmap in a moment. The kind of Fusion concept, the external libraries that we're working on. So we're really going to bring back the Fusion program. We're going to make it a lot easier for people to know which tools to use, to know what to use along their journey, especially on the new user side. Standard auth integrations, I think everyone could agree this could be better. A lot of people are running with plain text passwords at the moment. Enhanced REST support, these are some of the things that we have released in the last few years. And obviously on the AI ML integration. So we've done a lot of work on the AI libraries to support time series similarity search on structured data, and obviously vector search, hybrid search on unstructured data. So a lot of these are now available as native Q libraries, and you can use them directly within your environments. And yeah, we're also doing some things with BLAS. So if some of your users are actually familiar with the QML package, we have integrated with BLAS directly, and by, I think, next week, we'll have done QBLAS as well for GPU support. How am I for time? Okay. 5 minutes? Okay. So a very quick demo. I recorded this earlier. I don't know how it's going to show on the screen, but my download, I'm on Mac, I unzip it. From there, I unset QLic and unset QHome. So I currently have no environment variables. I start KDB, and you can see I'm into what we're calling the community edition. So I define a variable size and I create a code table. That code table, I think, has 100 million records. And straight out of the gate, I have SQL support. So I can run an aggregate across that 100 million rows. And yeah, fundamentally, this is all just natively available out of the binary. One of the other cool things that we've done here is we've compacted the binary to only have one file, essentially. So q.k and s.k are in the core. And the other thing that I'm showing here is config management. So you can see I have a .config file. In that, it's essentially a TOML layout, and I no longer have to provide my command line arguments directly on the command line. And yeah, I have some nice config management within KDB. So a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but last but not least, this is the roadmap that Peter promised. Probably the first time we've ever had a roadmap, to be honest. For KDB. So yeah, we're essentially coming out in phases. This is kind of a 12-month outlook. Again, the safe harbor statement, this will change what we're doing in phase 1, which is kind of in the next couple of weeks, and probably releasing something this week. We have the community edition, which includes PyKX support. We have our AI libraries. We have brand new getting started tutorials, which will obviously will be released via the docs, and we have the simplified install plus SQL support. In phase 2, which we're kind of saying is probably in the June timeline. I wasn't meant to give a date, but I just did. We have obviously the improved documentation and samples. We have native Parquet support, which is quite soon, to be honest. Like that's fantastic. We really want some feedback on that. If anyone wants to sign up to kex.com/research. We have the improved module library management and obviously WASM for documentation. And yeah, we have remote debugging, we have enhanced error messages, linter, REST, et cetera, et cetera. This is all coming towards the end of the year. So this is kind of our 12-month outlook. Yeah, we're really excited to have some feedback and get everyone involved. So that's essentially my presentation. Oh yeah, and we've effectively done phase 1, so we're on to phase 2 now. And I'm going to hand over to Siobhan.
All right, so hi everyone. I'm part of the product design team here at KX. Over the past few months, some of you in the crowd, I can definitely see, I've been speaking to, but what we've been trying to do is capture feedback on different parts of our product experience. Thank you again if you have participated. Your feedback has been really important in helping us identify areas that we can improve. You just heard from Connor about the areas that we plan to improve the developer experience within the product itself. And hopefully that's a massive step in the right direction. But innovation in the product is not the only place in which we want to improve the developer experience. We want to build a developer experience that supports you in the way that you like to work. And one of the plans that we have in place is to build a KX Developer Center. This new experience should be your go-to destination for all your development needs with KX products, and we're focusing on 3 core themes: unified developer resources, guided experiences, and better connections. So what does that mean? We've heard from the community that finding information in the KX space today for assets, downloadables, content is quite difficult because they're spread across multiple different locations, and often they require multiple sign-ons to get access to it. We're working on making this easier by having one centralized location for learning content, for support, documentation, and product downloads, including any modules and libraries and packages that Connor mentioned here. So how is this useful together? Well, let me give you a scenario. Imagine you've been given a task to calculate options prices using information from a large data set. And you search the Developer Center to find information on how to solve that task. You might find best practices from the documentation site, talking about how to apply complex calculations to large data sets. You might find a video talking about how to design your system to better suit your needs. And you might find a library which has common financial functions which enable you to do a lot of the heavy lifting. On screen, what you can see is a product overview page. we plan to have a page for each one of our products that unifies all of the information, assets, and things that you can expect from a product in the one place. So you have your courses and certifications, you have information around integrations with other products, examples that help you get started all the way through expanding your knowledge, and also helping you get support on any issues you might be experiencing. To all the newbies in the room, first of all, welcome to the community. We've heard some of your feedback and that with KX products, the learning curve is pretty steep. We're working on it. For all of you trying to scale up your team or improve KDB knowledge across different skill sets, we recognize it's not easy at the moment, and the current resources that we have are sometimes too basic or too surface level to really get the value out of the product. We want to build guided experiences for people no matter where they are on their journey. And that means for beginners, we want to talk about learning paths to skill up in certain areas, hands-on tutorials if you like to learn by doing. For more advanced users, we want to put in things like advanced guides, real-world use cases that enable you to deep dive into common problems we see in the industry that are quite complex, and also best practices from experts in the industry, from the core team, to enable you to help build your system right and get the most value out of your products. The best innovation happens when the community comes together, and we've been talking about increasing our open source and community contributions, and here's a way of doing that. So what we want to do is make it super easy for you to engage. We want to be able to give you access to simplified access to forums where you can ask questions, share insights, and connect with other developers within the community. We should be able to publish links for meetups and events as they're happening, opportunities to provide feedback, opportunities to get swag, as well as opportunities to work with each other, whether that's by sharing knowledge or collaborating on community projects. So that's not the only thing we're working on. Over the past couple of months, we have been working to restructure the documentation site to simplify the navigation and help you find the content you need faster. So yeah, what you're seeing here is actually something brand new. On Monday, we announced the launch of a brand new documentation site at docs.kx.com. What this is going to give you is a nod to some of the search capabilities that I've been talking about already. We want to make sure we increase the findability of the content, and this is our first step towards doing that. We've simplified the navigation so you can streamline finding information that you need. We've got better organization of product concepts and improved guides and examples to help you wherever you are in your journey. This is up and live now. We're really, really looking for feedback on it. You can see at the bottom right corner there's a send feedback button. Please use it. Today, the information that's available is for PyKX, KDB AI, accelerators and feed handlers. But over the next couple of months, we'll be adding it to the rest of the KX product suite. So keep posted on that. And yeah, hopefully this is a showcase of that we're committed to improving the developer experience for some of the KX products. Your feedback is crucial to that. So please let us know. Go to kx.com/research and sign up for any of the previews that we're doing or to get involved in user sessions. But thanks.